Hi everybody, I'm Bill Sanders and this is Watch Art Sci, the art and science of watch collection. Today what I want to do is talk about a set of watches that we may want to look at for two reasons. One, they're pretty good watches. But more importantly, right now we're in the middle of what seems to be a high inflation. The pandemic is sort of going away, and what's happened is that for most of the last year, the watch production hasn't been too great in Switzerland or any place else for that matter. And at the same time, there's been a lot of money around. So there's inflation and not a very big supply. And the result is that prices will go up. I mean, really up. My Chronometsu Rain by F.P. Jorn went up, sold at auction for $163,000. This was a 20-something thousand watch. So it's really going nuts. And so I think it's important for us to look at some other watches that are not as popular, but they're good watches, and they're not crazy expensive. What I tried to do, I tried to get all of these watches are presented at list price, so that you can take that one way or the other. But that's as opposed to looking for deals and so forth for pre-owned or shop worn or something like that. These are just right from the manufacturer's price. Now the first one is a Zenith Elite Classic, and the Elite Classic it's got an Elite 670 movement that's been around Zenith for a long time. People don't know about it that much because the El Primero has sort of sucked up all of the notice, while quietly the Elite has been a wonderful movement. I have an Elite GMT, great little watch. This one's $6,000 on the list price. You can probably find better deals for pre-owned, but these are right at this particular time. This is a good watch that'll last a long time. Now, this next one is Quintin Air, and it's a French watch, and there are really sort of two sides to this. One side is the manufactured movement that was three former engineers who used to work for Grubel Force came over to Quintin Air and made their movement for them. So it's got some pretty good movement in the thing. Now they have they're really sort of, like I said, the two sides. The other side has Solida and some other movements like that. They're all Quintin Air, but they're sort of different ones. And so what you want to look for if you go to their site is where they say manufacturer. Now, I put up a couple here. One is sort of what I like is a very standard kind of watch. It's got a power reserve indicator, small seconds. That's it. It's a great office watch, an everyday watch, automatic. Wind it up, and it's got a 88 hour charge to it. So with a pretty good watch. Now they have the manufactured movements are called EPMO1, and then they have, and that's the automatic. Then they have EPMO2, and down on the corner down there you can see the one with a little blue band on it. Now that one's $34.45 in dollars, $28.50 in euro. The other one is $45.93, which are they're not killer prices really, and you have a 3 hertz movement in it. This is a watch I'm going to have to do another video on, or a company I'm going to have to do another video on, because they've got some really very interesting watches. And one, I think, especially now when things are going crazy price-wise, you can find some incredibly good deals on these. And you can find also, too, on the used market. In Chrono 24, I saw a number of these I really liked. I mean, they were under $1,000, so something you might want to take a look at. Now, uh, here's an Hermes, Slim to Hermes. And people say, wait a minute, I knew you were going to say Hermes. When you're looking for watches that people don't really pay attention to. And well, I mean, if somebody said, what's 2 and 2 equal, but don't say 4 because I know that's what you're going to say. Well, yes, Hermes is, I still think these are great deals. They own 25% of Vaussure. And so basically their movements are Vaussure movements, which are really excellent movements. This one here has a micro rotor, and a lot of people like that. The thing that's neat about a micro rotor is that it keeps it very thin. The only thing about a micro rotor that I'm not crazy about, even though one of my favorite watches has one, is that they take up more room on the flat where you'd put your balance and some other things. So your balance has to be a little smaller where you have a micro rotor. On the other hand, when you have one of those great big ones, so you can't see anything. But this watch is a wonderful watch. I love the fonts on there. They're special fonts just for Hermes. This could be a great watch with a lot of versatility to it. Now, another one, but also by Hermes. Now, this is a brand new one. This is the Ho8. The thing now, this one has the bigger balance, the bigger rotor on it. But notice also the balance wheel is bigger. So sort of those two going together. This is the caliber 1837, which is another one. Now, this one was built by Vaussure specifically for Hermes. Hermes has the same movement in other watches. This one, though, was hugely successful. I mean, coming right out the door, they ran out of them. I was taking a look, and they seem to be having a bigger amount. Here are two that I really like. They're sort of at opposite poles. One is the one with the bracelet in titanium, 6,050, and again, like I said, these are MSRP. The other one, same watch, except it has a orange rubber band on it, which is $5,700. There's really not a lot of difference between. You're talking about $350 between having a rubber or a bracelet in titanium. I like the looks of the one with the rubber one, but I like the other one too. So this is another one. You don't have to go out and get the ones that everybody else is getting because these are excellent watches. Now, here's one that I had talked about at one time, and this is the Chanel J12. Now, what the Chanel J12 is, I mean, most people see it, oh, that's a girl's watch. Well, it could be, but any watch can be a girl's watch. My wife took one of my watches from me and said it was hers. This J12 is one with a manufacturer called Kenissi. And Kenissi and Tudor are using Kenissi as sort of as a movement maker for them. And they're building a brand new factory. I think it's outside of Geneva. I could be wrong. Could be somewhere else. But anyway, Rolex owns the land. So there's a really interesting connection in there between it. This is $6,200. I think it's a good deal. It's a ceramic, and to the right corner there, you can see the caliber 12.1, which is the one that Kenissi built for the J12. Now, on the lower right is one of my very favorite watches, period. And this one was called Monsieur de Chanel Caliber 1. And it was the design of the development of this watch, and the movement was by Romain Gauthier, which is one of the top guys in the field. Now this one's $40,000, but I just put it in there because I like it, and just to show you, well, Chanel is not, a bunch of girly girl watches. So they have some good stuff and good connections with some solid horology. So it's something. Now, this next one, Glossuda Original Vintage 60s. It seems that every time I talk about these watches, I'm going to talk about, this is one that I keep coming back to. $6,400. You can buy they're basically, the series is called Vintage, and then the sub-series is called the 60s from Glossuda Original. Caliber 39-52. By the way, all of the watches I'm talking about have brand manufactured or in-house movements. Every one of them does. And so we're not talking about, I mean, some of them, like I said, the French watch we talked about, that does have half of them about or have something other than the manufactured movements. Okay, so this one is, to me, the 60s is one of the most versatile watches around. It's just a great watch. It's a great office watch. Easy to make this into a more formal watch. I mean, just by, changing clothes. I like this watch a lot. Now, this watch, the Bulgari. The last watch I want to take a look at, again, this is one that I've talked about before, and I think it's a great deal, is the Bulgari Octo Roma. The one that everyone really likes a lot, and it's maybe hard to get, is the Bulgari Octo Fenicimo, which is a very thin one, great watch, except it costs about twice as much as this. So this watch has the BVL 199 movement, which is a in-house Bulgari movement. Bulgari is owned by LVMH, that's Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton, and they also own Zenith, and they also have their own, it's called something, a movement company that they also own. So they can get movements from a lot of places, anywhere from Defy Labs at Zenith to their own watchmaking source on it. But this particular one is one of those good-looking, nice, clean, solid watch. Great for the office. It's, formal enough to be, for going out and doing stuff like that. Good party watch. Well, listen, like I said, some of these you've seen before, but I think it's important to consider them. And then, of course, when things go back to normal, whatever that's going to look like, a lot of these watches, I think you'll be able to find some good buys on them. Right now, it's hard to find a good buy on anything, used or new, and so you might as well go with something new if you can get it at the MSRP price. Okay, well, listen, I want to hear from you. Let's hear what you think. Any other ideas of some good watches to get during this period? And this is an invitation to subscribe if you'd like. And until next time, this is Bill Sanders for Watch Art, Side of the Art and Science of Watch Collection.